What's going on, Jerome? So the Minnesota Vikings need to get back to having the meets up front, and we had floated the idea of bringing back a prodigal son, a guy that missed last season, but bringing James Lynch on home, and the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. That's right. And the Minnesota Vikings did just that on Tuesday. So they had waived cornerback Joejuan Williams. Now you're thinking, it's like, okay, is this where Jerry Jacobs comes in? But nah. James Lynch, welcome on back. Now, I absolutely love and adore me some James Lynch. Yeah, 4th-round pick in 2020 back in the day. He's only 25 years young, by the way. So definitely still has youth on his side. He's 6'4", 295. Was a former 3-star recruit from Round Rock, Texas. Stayed in the Central Texas area. Went to Waco, took his talents to Baylor. And his junior season, 2019, phenomenal. He was a bully along the D line in the Big 12. 41 tackles, 13.5 sacks, 5 passes broken up, 3 forced fumbles, a partridge in a pear tree. Unanimous All-American, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, all the accolades. It was fantastic. And then the Vikings were able to pick him up in the 4th round in 2020. Now, there's a couple reasons why James Lynch dropped in the draft. Number one is he's a bit of a tweener because he was probably not quick enough or long enough to be an every down 4-3 outside edge rusher, or probably not stout enough to be a consistent inside presence. That's at least what the draft prognosticators thought. But certainly we'll take his pedigree. And James Lynch became a bit of a fan favorite. Love the red hair. Love him just getting after things. The freshness with big red. That's right. But was a rotational piece for the Vikings for 3 seasons. Only 640 defensive snaps over 3 years. Some 3-tech in 2021. Some pass rushing nose tackle in 2022 with Donishell. And then put up a career 53 tackles, 2 sacks over 37 games. But unfortunately, tore his ACL in training camp last year. Was looking to make a name for himself in a contract year in the Flores defense, but didn't really happen, and was just floating on the ether as of right now through free agency as well as the draft. But the Vikings bring him home, man. So I'm pretty hyped about it because the Vikings, they were in on Christian Wilkins, didn't happen. They did their work on Byron Murphy, didn't happen. But now, the Vikings have added in free agency, Tillery, Jihad Ward, Jonah Williams, except those guys are more like 4-tech, 5-tech defensive ends. Now, I think James Lynch can play all along the defensive line, and he does bring heart and hustle, a bit of a whirling dervish of energy. I think that his best position probably is a sub-package pass rushing nose tackle, but I think that he can bring legit heat if the Vikings play with 4 D linemen, put him in the B gap as a 3-tech. He could be a 4-tech as well. So I think that his versatility is going to be a big benefit for the Vikings defensive line. And so the Vikings interior defensive line is a lot like the Vikings cornerback room. It's a lot like the Vikings wide receiver room behind Jefferson and Addison. Like, there's going to be opportunities for snaps, but there's a lot of talent there. And I think whoever rises up, rises up. I do think that James Lynch finds himself in a great situation. I do think that Flores will bring out the best of him. So I'm glad that he is back in the fold. So your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings waive cornerback Joejuan Williams and bring back defensive lineman James Lynch. I almost call him cornerback. Hell, I play cornerback too. Everyone needs to play multiple spots in the Flores defense. But let us know in the comment section below. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.